Welcome to Winning in the Margins with Jeff and Jamion. Today, our topic: how can you create an environment that will naturally bring your desired change? It's actually a tweet from James Clear that I sent over to you, my friends. I was like, this is something we have to talk about because the environment is so important for what we're trying to cultivate. So I sent this over to you a few weeks ago. Just thought it was a tremendous topic to discuss.
What makes you want to bring up the topic? Why is it important to you?
Well, as a leader, you're the biggest thing you have to do is build an environment. And the environment can't just be about what's most important to you. It has to be what's most important and most impactful to the people around you. So I think the intentionality of the environment that you want is extremely important.
Right on, right on. So I'm sitting here. I had to put the paper up so I can look at the question. How can you create an environment that will naturally bring about your desired change? I believe the most important thing is to know what your environment is, and so you have to know your mission. Our mission here at Get Fit is to deliver an experience where you believe a champion exists within, and that happens to be my life's mission. So I don't have a hard time walking through life understanding whether I'm making the right moves and the wrong moves. Sometimes I have a hard time not making the wrong moves, but I don't have much of an issue understanding why I'm in chaos or why things are heading down that right road. When you understand your mission, you understand where you're going, and ultimately how to get there might require a right turn, left turn, going up and around. But if we don't know what our mission in life is, what our objective, what we stand for, then it's hard to it's hard to create the desired change because we don't even know the desired change. So our lefts and our rights are just trying to find us peace that we have no idea where we're going.
Yeah, I love that. So you start on the front end with the mission, and I sort of always go to what I want it to look like on the back end, right? So I would say, any of our teams I've had, connections are a gift to the world, and we would want people to come in, watch our program perform on this stage, leave inspired to go and work hand in hand with others in the world, and then step out of our arena and then go and do that with the rest of their week. And that was kind of our mission, was how can we build such a connected group of people? And that wasn't our mission. Our mission was different, but I think it doesn't matter how you get there. I think the intentionality is really important either way.
So when you say that wasn't your mission, help me understand how your mission is separate from what you want to do.
Yeah, I think to me the mission is sort of the day-to-day. I want each to become all that they are able.
Okay.
Right? And would be more like my mission, which is like a mission every day. We're driving it with this. But at the end, how we want it to look on the grand scheme, there's a bigger picture, right?
Got it. I understand what you're saying there. For the purpose of making sure, if there's someone listening to this, the mission is what we want to achieve in life, where we're going, the direction. That's what I'm describing this as. And so, the experience you describe within the arena is the same experience I want in the classroom. It's the same experience I want in my home. It's the same experience, and the experience that we want, our vision, is right behind us, a world where we are on fire to give our best. And so if I'm sitting there watching the basketball court and the game's on the line and somebody on the team has the last shot, these are Rich Simpson's lines, by the way, in a song of his, game's on the line and you have the last shot and the guy takes it and it goes in, I want to walk away, not leaving the game saying, man, that guy's shot was on fire. Did you see? He hit it. But I want to walk away. I want to walk away saying, take the last shot, man. Be brave like that, man. Let's go. And so I need to know why I'm even sitting there at your game. Like, what am I cheering for? Am I cheering because there's 50,000 other people in the arena and I want to feel a part of something that in about an hour I'm no longer going to feel a part of because everybody goes their own way? Or am I watching that last shot and I'm walking away inspired to be courageous? Speaking of, we just talked about fearless, to be courageous, to take the last shot. And so if I'm going to do that in any area that I'm in, I have to understand my mission. And I think that's big. If I'm part of a family, well, what's my family stand for? If I'm part of a school, what's my school stand for? Now, that's easier said than done. There's a lot of families that don't know what they stand for. There's a lot of schools that don't know what they stand for. A lot of teams that don't know what they stand for. But I can tell you that, and when I'm watching my daughter or we're working through things, my daughter should expect her dad to be part of a world that's on fire, to give their best with his actions. And her dad is going to watch his daughter with the expectation that she is on fire to give her best. If I don't know why we're doing that, well, what does it even mean to be on fire to do my best? I've got to know it's to champion other people to believe in themselves. I've got to believe in myself because there's a world out there told not to believe in themselves. And so I have to understand my mission.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, when you also think about environment, you have intended outcomes and you have, is unintended a word?
I don't know. We can look it up.
But you have outcomes that
you mean.
You have outcomes that you can predict are going to happen because of your environment. But you also have outcomes that you can't predict are going to happen because of your environment.
Understood.
And so, when James Clear talks about naturally, the word naturally in his tweet, it's speaking about both.
Or is it?
I think it has to be.
So check this out. Does my environment, and so this is where I believe mission's important. And again, but it depends on one's mission. And so how can you create an environment that will naturally bring about your desired change? So what's the change that you're looking to bring about? And when you look at it from that perspective, one's mission can be on something very specific, right? And so it can be counter to what I'm saying, but we got to understand what the mission. I believe we have to understand what the mission is in order to cultivate the environment that brings about the desired change. The desired change under my mission is that we believe a champion exists within. It doesn't say that a tornado is not going to come through here and rip the building apart. It doesn't say that people aren't going to quit tomorrow. It doesn't say someone will stop believing. It doesn't say the gym's got 500 people in it, and so we're good because of those 500. It has 0 people in it, and we're bad because of those. It says we are a champion. There is a champion that exists within, and so we function as a champion, not based on result. Result is the byproduct of everything we're doing. And again, the byproduct of everything we're doing could be pivoted or adjusted based on a storm, based on a school system. What do you call it when say they redistrict a school system and some of the people that were coming to Havre de Grace, or even a lot, ended up going across to another town, and so our clientele went somewhere else. Well, still a champion, and so I conduct myself as one. What do I got to do? I have to make adjustments. We've got to figure out the next step, the next strategy. But if I don't understand my mission, well, then that storm just became who we were, or those 500 people just became who we were. I'm neither. I'm just on my way.
Agreed. I would say this though, you think about, and we kind of created this, and a lot of what we tried to build when I was a head coach.
Yeah.
was an environment based off of the 49ers and the, Bill Walsh 49ers.
Okay.
Was a big fan of their organizational leadership and how they built it, similar to the Patriots. Essentially, no one left those 49er teams very happy because you are always sort of grooming your replacement.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what ends up happening is, and it happened with us, where you create this culture where everybody feels like they're replaceable. Right. So it's like, we're all going to get better. We're all going to improve. We're going to be cared for and loved and all these things. But you also build a culture, I didn't do this on purpose.
Yeah.
Where guys feel like, well, I can leave because you got someone else that's going to be ready to go right behind me.
Got it.
And so that's why I say, like, I think naturally is a key word, because naturally in nature there is birth and there's death.
Yeah.
So using the word naturally just makes me think, like, there's a ton of things we're intended to create. We wanted to build a program where players got individually better quickly.
Right.
And they knew their strengths and weaknesses. And to do that, you're also building in a mindset that says everyone here is going to get better.
Yes.
And if you go down with injury, the next person's going to be ready to go. That's a natural way to build it. But it's also natural for the person to say, well, I'm not as valued. I can be replaced. Right.
Yeah,
so I think there's two sides to the coin,
there's two sides to the coin, if there's two sides to the coin. But we're replaceable if we don't believe in the progress. We're replaceable if we believe that, hey, they have it all. They don't need me, or I'm not meant to be a part. But for who's meant to be a part, nobody's replaceable. We need absolutely everybody. Everyone's meant to make progress. If you go down with an injury and you're a 49er, or you mentioned Patriots, if we're on fire for the team, my goodness, are we glad that our teammate was working so that when I went down, we're still winning. And those are the traditions that win repeatedly, the ones that repeatedly believe that they're meant to make progress, the ones that repeatedly are meant to be there, and their partners, same position, fighting for the same spot, but fighting for each other rather than against each other. We go somewhere. And so as a coach, there's so many different, everything's multifaceted. As a coach, there's so many different adjustments that are going to be necessary along the way. I read the 49ers. I grasp the Patriots culture. And so we're going to drive home. Everybody's going to make progress. Everybody matters. And that's what, when we're looking at the Patriots, folks don't get. You're going to hear somebody that doesn't either get leadership or that the way that he leads, because you have to look at it through the perspective of through his perspective. And he's leading a group that is meant to give their very best. There is not one over another. We're all in, we're all replaceable. But, and you use whatever word you want, we are all necessary. And that may take cultivating a core value that, where it describes the type of effort we give, it also describes, like an example, humility is a core value of ours. Well, why do we need humility as a core value? Probably for the very reason that you described this. And I'd have to think back on how we came up with humility, because every word was well thought out and defined. But humility, always good enough. And so we probably had some all-star along the way, or 32 come, and your typical all-star isn't coached up the same way as everyone else. A lot of time they're able to skate through without leveling up their game. Well, when you have coaches that understand 5-year-old through professional, well, you get that everybody has the ability to make progress. You're not done. And if you were truly looking to take your game to another level, it would rise. And then you have your never good enough. And that simply means God gave us the ability to have an endless array of progress as long as we're bought into it. And so whoever you are, whether you're player 1 or player 13, we're always good enough and never good enough. And when I say that, sure, you're replaceable. And just remember, you're always good enough and never good enough at the same time. So let's keep rising.
Yeah, remember, I got my little man in here today. So if you see me making some facial moves, it's because he decided to take the last 20 minutes to just continue to speak the whole time.
Nah, you're good, man. You're good.
Great. Yeah, I felt like it was so interesting because, I thought we always had a really – it's funny, I think, as you continue to build your culture, recognizing that the culture is going to consistently change and move as well. Right. Because as the people make the culture, the people grow the culture, it's going to grow into something that you maybe see at the beginning and you're hopeful for.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, it could be, if you've done it well, it'll be something better than what you even thought it could be.
Yes.
What you ever dreamed it could be.
The people will help you better define your culture. When we understand our mission, well, without the flaws, without the gaps, without folks feeling like they're meant to leave or you care about somebody else more, or, well, if I don't matter and everybody's meant to make progress, that just helps us define ourselves more. And so, yeah, man, to your point, at the end of the day, if we're able to do it and do it to the end, it will come out with a lot more fire than it began with.
And I think that's the beautiful part about it and that's why I think the word naturally is so important in that, because it's naturally in nature, things grow.
Yes.
And when you do it the right way, it will grow and it'll be more beautiful than what you envisioned, but you'll also know where you started.
I love it. How can you create an environment that will organically bring it or naturally bring about your desired change? I still believe at the beginning, I believe I need to know my life's mission. And then everything you said there, Jamion, 100%. I believe you have to know the mission, though. Like, what is your hope for the team? Who are we? And along with knowing who we are, where we're headed, organically, as long as we're paying attention and defining and redefining how we're going there, oh my goodness, are we going somewhere?
Yeah, I love the understanding at the beginning that you're going to have to redefine.
Yeah.
I work with so many coaches, their first opportunities, and what they don't necessarily struggle with the initial plan, but it's that the world doesn't care about your initial plan.
Yeah.
The world is going to require you to be agile and to adjust.
Right.
And can you have a plan that's so strong at the beginning, but a conviction as you go that allows you to adjust and to pivot? And I think that's really important to be able to know that it can grow into something amazing. It can stall in areas where you didn't think it was going to stall culturally. It's your job as a leader to know what to do and when to do it.
Right. And that is why I believe we need to encourage courage, because courage gets through struggle. Courage gets the game plan and then gets punched in the face and understand that it keeps going. But when we need something easy, when we need the easy paycheck, the easy salary, the head coach told us this is what we were going to do and how we were going to do it. Well, the team we were playing somehow found out we were about to go left rather than right. And so that awesome game plan we've been working on all week to head into the game just got punched in the face. I need a group full of folks with courage that are ready to pivot, ready to shift, ready to redefine, but stay on the course of the mission. If I'm looking for a whole bunch of people that want easy and we want the victory, well, we'll never win the championship in that way. Easy is where we go to lose heart. The main zone is the pain zone, and that's the change zone. And so we need to cultivate an environment that encourages courage.
I love this topic.
It's incredible.
You know, it makes me just think so deeply about. That's why it's a great question. It's one of the many questions that every leader, when beginning a task, needs to ask themselves.
Yeah. You know, I say this, man, and I'm thinking back to, well, how did all of this come into my mind originally, and where did this come from? And then I look back at the question again, and I love reading it because then, I don't know, I love the question. How can you create an environment that will naturally bring about your desired change? And a lot of the reasons our mission is because there's a large gap in my life experiences within this mission, teams I've been on, classrooms I've been within, the belief that I held for many years. And so you can look at it like that. Like, let's say a business isn't even established, but we're looking to strengthen our family, or we're looking to strengthen our way. How can you create an environment that will naturally bring about your desired change? I believe you can create an environment based on where chaos ensues and where peace ensues. Where peace ensues, the right approach has to be taken. Where chaos ensues, and I think of a million thoughts as I'm starting to say something, but where chaos ensues, it very well could be the wrong approach. And while at the same time, and you have to be careful of that, because it's chaos ensuing because you've got 10 people who have done, or you have 10 people in the group who have done something the same way for 40 years, and so they're just unwilling to pivot or shift or see the peace that will come about in the change. So, again, absolutely every thought is multifaceted.
And there's one certainty. If you continue to have bad practices along the way, you're going to continue to have bad results.
I love that. I love that. I love that.
And there's, I don't know if there's another certainty, but I would say the other certainty is that even if you're having success doing something one way, at some point you're going to need to pivot and do it another way. Right.
Well,
I think that's the challenge of all of it is, can you be the type of person who wants to learn enough to be ready for the problems that you don't have the answers for today? That's the challenge.
That's the challenge. And I believe that we're able to take that challenge on when we have the courage to know that as long as we're a learner and we're heading in our willingness to pivot, our willingness to shift, and our belief that when we do those things that we're going to come out the other side, that whatever culture one is creating, whatever environment one is looking to create, that desired change will come about. And at the same time, I believe that, it's not necessarily the head coach's job to make every decision. We've got some, when you have a team of people, we have great minds. And when great minds understand that we're a growing environment and great minds understand our mission, they're able to feed the mission. You mentioned yourself, and I don't think, like, one of my key takeaways every single time we have a conversation is how much you want to impact the person next to you. You weren't looking to go and take over for Coach Schaefer. You were looking to go and be a part and help strengthen the environment that that was being cultivated there. And so when you bring a team of folks around like yourself, the environment organically heads in the right direction because, well, everybody knows where the boat's sailing and everybody's paddling in the same direction. If we could have that opposite as well. And so we have to know our team.
Thank you for joining Jeff and Jamion on Winning in the Margins. Look forward to speaking to you next time.